Imagine losing all your wealth in one go, then realizing that you can get it back if you invest, say a month's salary. You get excited to get back all your wealth and invest a month's salary. Then you realize that it was just a cruel joke. And yes, your 1 month salary too is gone now. Well, this is exactly what Evergrande investors are going through. They have lost all their money at once, well, almost. And now, while they were waiting for their injuries to heal, Evergrande fleeced them again. Now they are once again entrapped in a huge real estate mess. And all this happened right under Jinping's watch. Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Atul Mishra, and in this video I will explain how a bankrupt Evergrande has once again duped Chinese investors. Let's begin. Can a bankrupt company get people to give away more of their money? Well, keep it forever? No, right? It sounds like a total scam. Who would fall for it? But it is China we're talking about, and looking at the way China's economy is going, well, everything is possible. Only recently, Beijing asked bankrupt Chinese property developers like the China Evergrande Group to meet payrolls by the month end, which means a total of at least $197 billion for the real estate industry to cover up outstanding debt and wages. So the bankrupt developer is desperate for cash. The professor always has a plan, and so does Evergrande. The shares of the embattled real estate giant rose as much as 15.8% on December 22nd. And investors were surprised. The company had officially defaulted in December. So how could its shares resurrect to life all of a sudden? Was Evergrande making a grand comeback that no one would have expected it to make? Well, no. The sudden spurt in Evergrande shares could be attributed to the restructuring committee that the real estate developer had set up earlier in December, while claiming that it had agreed to engage with creditors. The temporary resurgence in Evergrande shares stimulated investor interest, and the real estate company wasted no time in capitalizing upon it. After all, the investors were desperate, emotional, an easy kill. On December 26th, Reuters reported that China Evergrande Group claimed to have made initial progress in construction activity. The chairman of the world's most indebted property developer promised to develop 39,000 units of properties in December, up from a much fewer delivery of less than 10,000 properties in each of the previous 3 months. And then there were more promises. The Evergrande statement claimed that it had resumed cooperation with over 80% of decoration companies and long-term suppliers, having signed 6,869 contracts with material suppliers. It also claimed that 91.7% of its national projects had resumed construction. Evergrande created a sentiment that it is rising again and that this is the time to invest. This is how the real estate developer managed to dupe domestic and foreign investors. And then the final act, the prestige. With all of Evergrande's assurances, Evergrande investors would have thought that finally they can redeem themselves. But then they were faced with a huge disappointment, probably even bigger than the ones that they had to face till now. Evergrande suspended trading in Hong Kong on Monday. In a filing to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, Evergrande said that its trading halt was pending an announcement containing inside information. It didn't elaborate on the trading halt, and there is not much clarity on how far this abrupt halt will go. This simply means that Evergrande investors won't be able to sell off their shares, and now they're stuck. It also means that Evergrande's promises of making a rebound from bankruptcy were all false. Investors who were carried away by a sudden surge in Evergrande shares last month now face sheer uncertainty. They pumped their money in Evergrande stocks at the wrong time, and this is it. They are trapped. Meanwhile, the real estate giant might manage to meet its immediate target, meeting payrolls by month end. So Chinese banks will get some of their money back at the expense of the Chinese people. And mind it, this has happened under Xi Jinping's watch. As soon as the company thought that it can no longer keep the genie in the bottle, it took down the shares. Investor climate in China thus only worsens. Evergrande seems unlikely to repay domestic investors, and foreign investors aren't even on the agenda. It's the scam of all scams.